Oh yeah, now I forgot one thing which is very important. The actual music itself now. As I said to you, my music is I present it as a publishing um, business, and that means my catalog. And like I said, I put it at a price of 350 million. If I was gonna sell at 350 million, would I sell it to most probably the Cool Mom Records when it is owned by women and it's no longer my personal company but owned by women? Then I'd sell it to them and say, if I was to sell, basically, I don't know if I want to sell, but if I was to sell, I'd sell it at that price, 350 million US dollars, right? And I make money out of that. But before I sell it, what I'd like to do is to make sure that all the music that is in that catalog, which I collectively call demos, for all of that to be recorded, re recorded to the greatest possible excellence of reggae quality, which means that I have certain names in mind for who would be the producers, the arrangers of the music, and I would go for the veterans, for the different veterans. And this time round, because the product does not exist, I will not call names because that's speculation, but they are there in the back of my mind, and would definitely love for all the songs to be rearranged, re-recorded, and not necessarily by myself, and see which artists who I mean, so locating the music to artists, allocating the music to several artists, and see, well, okay, let's see what's gonna make it great. We'd put the music out into a market that is able to buy the music, able to pay for it, because the affluence will be there through our unity, through our coming together, through paying the mother tax and the Cool Mom Records. Through doing that, I definitely see that, okay, well, now art really truly becomes art, and all the beef and all that stuff that goes on would disappear, because you can imagine now this is divide and conquer, because all the YouTube channels, it's like people know that beef brings views, so therefore people choose to go to the beef, you know. And then nobody's gonna be nice to each other. Cause if you say, "Boy, I like this brethren," or "I love that brethren," whatever, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's interested. But if you're gonna say so and so is an asshole, or so and so fuck my woman, or whatever, blah blah blah, everybody wants to know, and then you get views, and then you get money from those views. You can't see that's devilism. You can't see that that's devilism, and you're being paid for devilism. Hmm. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to get paid for controversy, which you put out there on purpose. Boy, what a wicked thing. That's why we'd rather have a constant income from global fees from women who care about their children, that makes 7 billion a month, and therefore keeps people not wanting to look for money through making those nonsensical YouTube channels. We'd rather the people own their own YouTube. See? Those are the type of things that I really care about, is owning our stuff. Somebody one time came to me and said, "What do you think about black women having fake hair or having European hair and everything?" I said, "Well, really, whatever a woman wants to do, a woman must do. It's nothing to do with me, you know what I mean?" And, you know, the part of a woman was supposed to be real. As long as that part real, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So the hair. The thing about the hair is like, listen, um, my problem is if you don't own the hair company. Because do you realize how much money they're making off of your preference of how you want to look? You go to Brixton, you go anywhere, you go see who's owning these shops that have got every hair product you can imagine. It's not our women. And that's the only problem I have with it, is that it's not our women who own the shops. You see what I'm saying? To be honest with you, the rest of it is like, no, I'm not in this world to argue with women. I'm here to live in love and peace and harmony, no matter what it is they're presenting. You understand? That's what I'm here for. Whether you wear makeup or not, whether you wear pants or not, it's none of my business. You understand? I was about to get rude, but I'm gonna keep that fire for my X-rated albums, I guess. That's none of my business. I know which part's my business, Rasta. Anyway, so I'm digressing, but I know this is reality and this is what our people are going through. So I must touch upon these subjects and come right back to what I'm talking about. We're talking about the making of the music, recording of the music, financing the best possible projects, making sure that the producers get the top rates, arrangers get the top rate, and the music comes out and people get good quality reggae music. And then the minister comes into question again. Well, this would have to be done under the auspices of the minister, and how much of it, make sure that so much of it actually becomes owned by Jamaica. So the whole premise of this Reggae Dollar is to really re-establish reggae as a Jamaican industry. So with all the new songs that I come with, it is simply to establish Jamaica. So this quality of songs, this quality of music is not going to the Chris Blackwells and Whitewoods, though they can come on board to make sure that the structure that we make is efficient. So we would need their advice, the Bransons and the Blackwells, to say, hey, wow, this is what you want to do, well then do this, or contact this person, or contact that person. Yes, that's allowed, but the structure, we can't deal with the structure. You understand? The structure has to be our own structure. And there's many more things that we can talk about that within a Rastafari context. And I shall repeat most of what I've said to the Honorable Minister, but in a Rasta format to the Rastafari community. So that means we're going to use more of the Bible to underpin the principles that I'm working with. Biblical principles, they're right there in Genesis. Genesis, Leviticus, the Psalms, the teachings of the Christ, all of them underpin these financial principles that I'm talking about. You know, so it's for real. It's from the Father. It's truly from the Father. So that would be the music, the albums, the artists. Yeah, let's check that out, and I can work. You know, it's very important that we make this move, and I chose personally, when I tell my story in Jamaica, I would have to tell the whole story for the people them to understand where am I coming from. There's a story behind all of this, but it was really a choice. It's a conscious choice. And it's also the reason why I've not made it to Jamaica since the time that I started doing what I'm doing. Because I could never go to Jamaica in the context, and that would be a context, not an uptext, that would be the context. In the context of saying, let me go get a Yachty accent because that's what everybody's trying to get. Let me go get a Yachty experience because then I can put out an album and come across as a Yachty. Because that's what people do. You know, so we know that people have been doing that for a while. You know, you got big names who are doing that. You got the Abaroses, you got Gentleman. You know, I knew of Gentleman in Cologne before he really bust big. You know, and you see the stuff that they're doing is real good. But I mean, they're coming in the structure of you have a bag of money, and because you have a bag of money, you can get you can go work to people, and you can come up with a good album, and your album's gonna come out bigger. You got better contacts, and you got better exposure to what you call it, to festivals and lining and everything, accommodation, whatever. And things don't change for the people in the ghetto. Yet this album sounds as though it would make a change. How would you make a change? Realize how much you have to put into making a change. It takes everything you got. That's the reason why I don't have a music career, even though I'm competent of having a music career. Because I put all my effort into this. You know, you have to put things into the uptext of what's going on because there was a context. See? How many structures went into our subjugation, our oppression? How many slave ships? It was ships. It wasn't just thinking, wishful thinking, put out an album and it's gonna fix the slave ship. Yeah. if you want to fix slavery, you got to imagine, okay, how many ships took the people, but how many ships would actually take the people home again? How many planes? How would you facilitate that? Where the money come from for that? You see, so you have to think big, especially when you deal with reggae music. You can't just jump into it and take X amount of things out of it and then build a career off of it. I couldn't do that as an African. I couldn't do that as a Rasta. I would have to look at like, yo, Burning Spear, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh are talking about this thing from the bottom of their hearts. The least I can do is to say, Jah, what can we do to actually to actually put some action behind what Bob is saying? If Bob says get up, stand up, what does that mean? Again, we have Dennis Brown. Do you know what it takes to fight a real revolution? Because Dennis sit down and think about it and say, boy, look at this thing, man. You know? You see, that's the word, is do you know what it takes? It takes a lot. It takes a lot because you know that the industry is just, the industry is like one big circus, and it's got people running around there like the animals in the circus, and they just get peanuts. And I'm saying, no, we got to be the circus owner. If we must deal with circus business, we must be the owners. If you're the owner, then every ticket that you buy to go to the circus comes to you yourself. We got instances for that as well, and that's Big Spliff the movie, which is a different structure. And I can see that we won't have time to get into it, but at least not on these videos. But I've got all the time in the world to get into it in terms of real practical work. And if this video really does inspire the Honorable Minister and everybody else to say, yo, let's work, then me and my daughter, we're here, and we can facilitate, and we can plan, and we have a network of people who can got good advice, of good artists. Again, I won't drop names just out of respect, but they're watching this video and wheels are turning in the minds of people, and we can really, we Jah people can make it work. We can come together and make it work. Seen. So with that, I'm done. Honorable Minister, one love.